Hey guys, welcome back to Building Blue Eyes Decks Part 2. I'm sorry if I'm being a bit of a ramble around this, but I'm just trying to do my best to help you guys with key cards that are used in decks and everything. So, anyway, get back on topic. Now, the first part of the video really dealt with cards that are mainly used in the very competitive builds of building Blue Eyes decks and everything. And now I'm going to talk to you about certain tech cards and fun variant cards that are used in other types of Blue Eyes decks, such as mines and fun variants, and even some competitive builds in some cases. Okay, for example, there are some people who like to utilize the power of other Blue Eyes cards, like for example the Sin Blue Eyes cards, because Banisher Blue Eyes and you've got a Sin Blue Eyes in the field as your beat stick along with a skill drain or something that negates effects, just a big beat stick sort of deck in that case. There are some people who also use this card, Paladin of White Dragon, along with White Dragon Ritual. However, in today's format, this is deemed too slow. I mean, personally, I would love to run this in my deck. I think it's an amazing card. You can special summon a Blue Eyes from the hand or deck when you tribute this card. But my good friend Kalo Shade built a Blue Eyes Forgotten Dragons based around the ritual, using the main speed cards for ritual decks, so it's like Advanced Ritual R and Manju and everything, which is quite cool. And there are deck builds like that, it's also used in fun Kaiba decks as well, because Kaiba does use this dragon, in the anime at least. And then of course we've got Kaiba Man and Burst Stream of Destruction as another one. Burst Stream of Destruction is just basically a free Regiki, but you have to have Blue Eyes White Dragon out on the field. This is good in a lot of fun decks. I used to run this myself, but unfortunately it's too specific for me. What I mean by that is, my deck has one specific strategy, which is to get out Blue Eyes Shining Dragon. That's the only specific strategy in there. And everything else besides the Blue Eyes cards are as general as possible. So I don't run into a problem of having too many bad hands, or run into problems of I can't activate half the cards in my deck because they're all specific and can only be activated under certain conditions. I think that's what really helps to make really good Blue Eyes decks, is if you've got a specific strategy in mind. Like say the win condition of the deck. Mine is Blue Eyes Shining Dragon, for example, so I've only got cards focused on getting out Shining Dragon. Other Blue Eyes decks might be just to get out the Blue Eyes on the field, just to swarm and overwhelm the opponent, because Blue Eyes White Dragon is still a pretty powerful monster, and it's still pretty feared. I mean, half the time at the tournaments, the guys panic whenever I get Blue Eyes out, because they've got nothing to run over half the time. Anyway, sorry, getting back on topic here. Burst Stream Destruction is really good for fun decks and that. I would only recommend one of these, really. Some people run two or more, but the Blue Eyes White Dragon can't attack that turn. So, for example, say if you summoned out one Blue Eyes and you got out another and you played this card, both your dragons can't attack that turn. It's pretty much common sense to think that, but there are some people who I've come across who have said, oh, hang on, I've only used it on one Blue Eyes, the other Blue Eyes can attack, but no, unfortunately, that doesn't work. So it is a really good card. The artwork is awesome. It's the actual attack of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's really good for fun decks, but I find it too specific, but I still really like it. Another big card for Blue Eyes decks is Kaiba Man. Now, this is a good alternative to Red Eyes Darkness Metal if you're not running that, because it's a Kaiba themed card, it's Blue Eyes themed card. And some people have said, why do I not run it? Well, it's too obvious what you're going to do when you summon out Kaiba Man. I've said it time before, it's as soon as you summon it, your opponent is immediately going to know what you're going to do with it. And it's great for getting Blue Eyes out quickly, but in a competitive build, you need general cards that you can actually combo with in many, many ways, which is why I actually prefer Totem Dragon over this card. I mean, I used to run it, but unfortunately that's the other problem with Totem Dragon, is this is a warrior, not a dragon, so I can't really run it in my deck. But it is still very good. I mean, there are some dragon builds, competitive dragon builds, who do run a Kaiba Man just in case they need to summon out their Blue Eyes and everything, which is really nice to see. Other tech cards, for Blue Eyes decks, Dragon's Mirror. I used to like this card, now I hate it. I really don't like remove from play cards anymore, in all honesty. This is brilliant for fusing into Ultimate Dragon if needed, or fusing into Five-Headed Dragon at the end of the game. If you do decide to run Five-Headed Dragon. The most common practice for dragon decks is to throw in a Five-Headed or Five-God Dragon into the extra deck. That way they can use Feature Fusion and then use their Dragon's Mirror to get pretty big beat sticks. Or in some cases, even get Ultimate Dragon out on the field. I mean, some people have said that to me quite a few times. Why don't you run Feature Fusion, send your 3 Blue Eyes to the grave with 2 other dragons, and then play Dragon's Mirror? Well, it's a good strategy, but it's not me. I don't like, as I said, I don't like remove from play cards. It's not my style, but it is a good card for late game abilities if you're running Five-God Dragon and everything. So some dragon decks do run it, whether it's fun or competitive. Others don't. It just depends on the taste of the player. Another good card is Dragon Ravine. Yes, it mainly is used with Dragonities, but the send one dragon monster from your hand from your deck to the graveyard when you discard a card from your hand. Discard your Red Eyes Darkness Metal, send another Red Eyes Wyvern or a Blue Eyes or something to the grave, and you can start your swarming abilities that way. So this is quite a good little field spell for some Blue Eyes builds. And then, of course, other tech cards, we've got things like the Draw Power, like cards of Consonance to combo with the White Stone of Legend if you're running it, and trade in to run Blue Eyes, because discard level 8 and you draw 2 cards is quite good, but I don't run those cards anymore. I used to, but my deck, it was too specific. I needed more general kind of cards, because, as I've said in the beginning of the video, my deck's got one specific strategy, everything around that is general, so I can use it no matter what the situation is. Other good tech cards that I've heard about and seen recently is Exploder Dragon. It's basically, it can destroy other monsters without any battle damage, which is nice. And some people I've seen have been using Dark Arm Dragon recently, more like in the Chaos variants. Because as soon as you got 3 darks in the grave, you can drop Dark Arm Dragon, and it's a dragon itself, so you can start destroying the field in that way, and yeah, just overall mass destruction and everything as well. In a lot of other Blue Eyes decks I've seen as well, I've also seen White Stone of Legend being used. Now some people only use 1 or 2. I use 3 because otherwise I wouldn't consider it a true Blue Eyes deck if I didn't. But it's very versatile little card. It's a level 1 tuner, and when it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Blue Eyes White Dragon to the hand. Most decks tend to run competitive decks, and fun decks tend to run 1 or 2, because you've only got 3 targets in the whole deck to use it on. And it can combo with your things like, say for example, you've got your cards of Consonance, then you've got your trade in. You can use it. Make sure you've got a Blue Eyes White Dragon ready for your Red Eyes Darkness Metals or your Kaiba Man or whatever it is you've got ready on the field. Now, the last 2 cards I'm going to talk about are 2 cards that aren't actually very well used in a lot of Blue Eyes decks, which I think is kind of sad to see. Well, to an extent, they're used mainly in Kaiba decks, Kaiba style decks really, but it's these 2, Blue Eyes Ultimate and Blue Eyes Shining. Now, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is a pretty powerful monster. It's still one of the highest attacking monsters in the game, fusion-wise at least. But people don't tend to fuse into it because they think it's a waste of a card, in honest truth, because it's got no special abilities or anything, it's just raw attack power. But there are, as I said, there are fun variant decks who do use this card just to overwhelm the opponent. There's even an OTK for this card. You fuse into your Ultimate Dragon, attack, and then you play Defusion and get back your 3 Blue Eyes. And then some people have said now you can add Super Polymerization to the mix, fuse back into Ultimate Dragon and keep doing a loop like that over and over again, which is quite devastating, but a very specific strategy if you ask me. But still, it's sad that most competitive builds like Chaos and that don't fuse into Blue Eyes because it's too much of a hassle, too specific. They need sort of general cards to work with. But the fun variant decks do run this, which is nice to see. And it's still pretty awesome cards, and I run it myself because it's a Blue Eyes card anyway. And Blue Eyes Shining Dragon, this, as you know, this is my absolute favourite card in the whole game. My deck is focused on getting her out. But most dragon decks I've seen, competitive and fun alike, don't use her, which is quite sad to see. And it's kind of ironic because she was out first in 2004 before Ultimate Dragon came out in 2006. The reason being is she's a Nomi. In other words, she's a card that can only be summoned by one way, and that's triggering Ultimate Dragon. It takes 5 cards to get her out, which is a lot of work to some duelists. And she's got some protection against targeting effects, and she's got a good attack boost gain. But against the big staple cards like Dark Hole, Torrential Tribute, Bottomless Trap Hole, Solemn Warning, Lightning Vortex, Mirror Force, she has no protection against. So if you spend all that time getting her out and then she gets destroyed by that, it can be very frustrating. I know, I've been through it. That's why I run her. But the sense of pride and accomplishment I get when I do summon her out is incredible, because you know, it's just an absolute wonderful build up to get her out in the field. And she can't, because she's a Nomi, that's why she's often dissed in Blue Eyes decks, because she's just too specific to summon out. But I think she's amazing. She's really underestimated, and people should really use her more, in honest truth. But oh well, it's everybody's personal choice and everything. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope this gives you an insight on how to build those kind of Blue Eyes decks from here. If you want to get more information about how to build competitive Blue Eyes decks or anything, I'm going to leave a list of some duelists down below that I admire and run dragon decks, whether it be Blue Eyes or not. So I'm talking like Dragon Duelist Girl, Umbreon from the Shadow, the Egyptian Prodigy. Rate, comment, and subscribe to them. They are very good duelists, dragon duelists at least, and they've actually got some really good videos on how to help out with Blue Eyes decks and everything. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I do hope these 2 videos help out you if you're building out a Blue Eyes deck. So until then everybody, take care, and we'll see you later. Bye!